VeChain crypto technical analysis and price prediction, and we are at this point in time on the monthly chart. And on this chart we can see that at this point in time we actually have what seems to be a double bottom over here, which has a neckline at that point, and the indication is that we're likely to see price move further up, and that is because we can also see that at this point price has broken above that neckline, and what we want to see happen next actually is the market come back to the neckline to test it out, and at that point where the neckline is where we would look for potential buy opportunities, especially if that level aligns with any key numbers that we have in regards to the Fibonacci retracement tool. So there goes our neckline, which is also a very strong level of support. And as much as I'm saying that we want to see price come back to the neckline to give it a test and then move further up, just also bear in mind that we have this area over here, and what that area is a very strong level of resistance. And not only is it a very strong level of resistance, but it is also the neckline of this overextended double top. And should price reach this level, at that point is where we may potentially see the market actually move further down or even continue up for that matter, especially because remember guys, the market had given us this double top. It's actually an overextended double top where that first leg is much higher than the second leg. And as I always say, what normally happens in regards to these patterns is that a lot of traders and investors actually sell on the second leg and they place their stop losses at that level as well as at that level. So what am I saying? What I'm saying in other words is that we have a lot of money stuck here in the form of stop losses as well as above here, right, due to the fact that we had this overextended double top, right? So as much as I'm saying that we want to see price actually ideally moving further up to where we have this very strong level of resistance, just bear in mind that we actually have a lot of money stuck at this point as well as at that level, right? And it makes sense actually for the market to head up to all of those levels, right? Anyway, from here I'm just going to head down to the weekly chart, and let's see what's happening on the weekly chart. And just to recap guys, remember on the monthly chart I spoke about how the market has given us this W structure or double bottom, and I said that we want to see price actually come back to this area to give it a test, and at that point is where we may potentially look for buy opportunities. But what else do we see on the weekly chart? I don't see much really, but we can also see that we have here price moving rather sideways, and perhaps it's an indication that we may be getting ready to see the market move further down to this level to test it and then potentially move further up, right? Anyway, from here I'm just going to head down to the daily chart, and here we are on the daily chart. On the daily chart I'm just going to start off by adding my daily channel, and let's have a look. How would I add my daily channel more or less? I would do this more or less for now, just bear with me. So there goes my daily channel, right? And remember guys, remember on the weekly chart I spoke about how at this point we seem to be getting some sideways movement, and perhaps we may be getting ready to see the market move that down to around this level to test this very strong level of support, which is also the neckline of that huge W structure that we spoke about on the monthly chart. And should price do that, at this point is where we would look for further buy opportunities, right? But let's zoom in and see what's happening in regards to the daily chart, right? And as much as I said on the weekly chart that we have some sideways movement over here and that we may be getting ready to see the market move further down, just also note that the market had given us what is a head and shoulders pattern here, which had a neckline more or less at that point, right? And again, you guys know that whenever we have these patterns, right, we want to see actually let me just draw this properly. We actually want to see price closing sufficiently below the neckline and then head up to the neckline to test it, and at that point is where we would look for further sell opportunities. However, we can see that at this point over here the market closed below the neckline and then went back up to the neckline to give it a test, but we can also see that the neckline was not able to hold price, and we saw the market move further up, making the structure no longer relevant at this point in time. So we can just disregard it. And what else do we see? And as much as we had this huge pattern over here, which is, as I said, a head and shoulders pattern, the market also gave us what seems to be an inverted head and shoulders pattern there, which also has a neckline. And similarly, we want to see the market from where it is come down to that level to give it a test, and at this point is where we may potentially look for buy opportunities, especially if, as I always say, that neckline aligns with any key numbers that we have in regards to the Fibonacci retracement tool. So this would be our neckline more or less. And just to utilize the Fibonacci retracement tool, let's have a look. I just want to see if that neckline aligns with any key numbers, and we can see more or less, guys, that the neckline, which is over here more or less of this inverted head and shoulders pattern, aligns with, we could say, the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement tool, and should price from where it is revert to this level. At that level is where I believe we should look for potential buy opportunities, right? We should look for potential buy opportunities, right? Anyway, let's head down to the H4 chart and let's see what's happening down there. And again, just to recap, on the daily chart, we spoke about how the market has given us what seems to be this pattern, which is an inverted head and shoulders pattern, and we said we want to see price come back to this level, and should price do so at this level is where we would look for potential buy opportunities, especially because the neckline aligns with the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level, right? So should price again come back to this level, we have confluence in as far as looking for potential buy opportunities goes, right? So what I would do, should price come back to this level, is then look for reversal candlestick patterns such as railroad tracks, which look like this, right? Where this one would be bearish and this one would be bullish, right? Or I want to see a pin bar of sorts, right? Or I want to see a pattern that looks like this more or less, right? With this one being bearish and this one over here being bullish, right? So this is what I want to see, should price from where it is come back to this level. Another thing that I would also want to see is price violating the channel and closing to the side of the channel, and that would give us confluence, because number one, remember, we would have the market giving us this pattern, which would be an inverted head and shoulders pattern. Number two, we would have price come back to the neckline to give it a test, which is also a very strong level of support. Number three, the very same level aligns with the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level. And the last point is that the second last point is that we would then look for reversal candlestick patterns such as the ones that I've shown you. And the last point is we would wait for the market to actually close on this side of the channel. Once that happens, we would have ample reasons or enough reason to actually consider buying, right? And that's what I would be looking for on my end, right? And just remember also that at this point in time, I'm just speculating, and I'm not necessarily saying that the markets or price will unravel in the manner in which I've just explained, right? I'm just speculating. Just remember that, guys. And that's it, guys. As far as my analysis, I don't see anything much, but I just also want to point out that at this point in time over here, we seem to have some choppiness and some not so straight or perfect price action, and just based on how things are right now, I would not be buying or selling for that matter. But what I would like to see happen is price come back to this level, and at this level is where I would look for potential buy opportunities, but also keeping in mind that the market has also given us what seems to be a double top there, which if it does happen, it would have a neckline there, and if price closes below this neckline, price may head up to this level again, push up to this level, only to move further down again, because it would be a very strong level of resistance at this point in time.